Hey there, welcome. My name is Jessica Buchanan, and I'm a New York Times bestselling author, professional speaker, and founder of Soul Speak Press, a non-traditional publishing company created for women who've been through something, now they know something, and they can teach us something. In Her Words is a podcast designed to support aspiring memoir authors on their writing and publishing journey. It's hard work, this writing and publishing stuff, and I want to empower you with encouragement and information so you can keep sharing your truth. So grab your coffee, your notebook, find a quiet space, and let's dive in. Well, hey there, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of In Her Words. Wow. Okay, so I'm leaving here in a couple of hours and I'm going to be gone for the next 5 days. I've been on the road a lot, which has made recording this podcast a little bit challenging. So nothing like getting things done in the 11th hour, but today I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm doing and where I'm going. I am excited to be going to Detroit to give a keynote for an organization, which I've talked a lot about keynoting and speaking and how writing a book, a memoir manifesto in particular, and bringing in that memoir piece as well as the thought leadership piece really helps you unlock those doors for speaking, getting paid speaking events. So I've talked a lot about that in other episodes. But then from Detroit, I'm flying down to Asheville, North Carolina for our first ever Soul Speak Press writers retreat. And so I am really looking forward to it. I'm really excited. This has been something that has been on my vision board for years. And the fact that it's finally coming together just feels so gratifying. It feels really satisfying, and I'm really excited. And we have a couple other retreats that we're planning that are in the works. So I'll talk about those in a few minutes. But I have never, I I've been on a lot of retreat style like classes, if you will, that didn't necessarily focus in on writing. Actually, I don't know if I've shared this. I don't know where I've shared it, but for a long time, I was really I'm more natural. I'm still trying to be as natural as possible, but I studied Western herbalism very formally, and I actually went to school for it. And so I'm based up in the DC area. And for 2 years, over 2 years, I drove down to Charlottesville, Virginia. So it was a 5 hour round trip, once a week, even when my kids were really little, to get certified in Western herbalism. I didn't make it through the entire course because I got a job teaching. So I did that because to be honest, it was really taking a toll on me and my kids were really little. They were like 4 and 2 when I was doing this. But however, my point in all of this is that I think the reason of course, I loved learning about plants and I loved learning about how they heal and how I could help people feel better and their body, mind, and spirit. I think what kept pulling me down there was this retreat type experience. We would take once a month, we would have a full weekend, and we would just learn and we would have time for reflection. We would hold space. Someone would hold space for us. We did a lot of like really sacred and spiritual work, a lot of time connecting with nature, beautiful food, friendships, conversation. And so that is where I fell in love with the retreat experience. And so I, just to give you a little background on how all this came to be, I met one of our authors who's local to me, Jess Greenwood. She is in the Pilgrimage of Motherhood. I'm trying to remember what her chapter is called. I think it's Flying with the Birds or something. I can't remember. Sorry, Jess, off the top of my head. And she and I just totally clicked. And she's a get it done kind of girl, like a logistics person. I'm a visionary, and I like to surround myself with integrators, so people who can get the actual stuff done, because I just like to have the big ideas and connect with people. And but if you ask me to like organize a menu. I mean, I can do it. Like I throw these big launch parties once a year, but it really depletes me because it's not where my skill set lies. My skills are in visioning and creating and mentoring and teaching. And she has lots of amazing skills. She's a very talented, multi-talented person, but one of her skills is like just getting shit done. And so I asked her if she'd be interested in planning this retreat for me. And of course she like did all the things. Like she had surveys of different places that, and we decided to just open it up to Deserts to Mountaintops authors. So we've got three volumes. So we just opened it up, and we only opened it up to like 9, I think, participants, 8 maybe, because we thought let's just rent a big house somewhere in nature and let's do like spend the weekend writing, connecting. And so that is coming up this weekend. We decided the venue that we picked was Asheville, North Carolina. And this was prior to the hurricane and all of the devastation. We had this planned beforehand. And so one of the questions as soon as that hurricane hit and just completely decimated Asheville was, well, are we still going to be able to go down there and have that retreat? And yes, our house that we're staying in and some the restaurants and the places that we were planning on uh, visiting are okay. And then we just felt really passionate and committed to, continuing to invest our tourism dollars into Asheville. But what I'm just so excited about, of course, I'm like excited to see these authors that I've known for years now, who, a couple of them are from volume 1, who like they trusted me and they came on this wild ride of Deserts to Mountaintops with Soul Speak Press. And I'm just so excited that they're still writing and that they are going to come and just be in community with all these other women that they don't know. And we have so many cool things planned and just some downtime. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm just really looking forward to being with a group of women who have all been through something. Now they know something and they want to teach us something. And they've written and they're continuing to write. So here are, if you've never been on a retreat, or particularly a writing retreat, I have a couple of just, highlights that I'd like to share with you in terms of like why you should go on one. And then I want to share some upcoming retreats that we're planning and in case you're interested. Okay, so for those of you who have a body of work, are thinking about starting a body of work, perhaps you don't have the time or the money to invest in working with Soul Speak Press, or you're not sure you want to shop things around and find an agent and whatnot. I would encourage you to consider a community style retreat. It's going to be very different than going on a solo retreat. But one that's geared toward writing. We definitely have built in uninterrupted writing time, but that's what you're looking for and that's what you're going to get. And there's like that accountability when everybody is off writing, right? So retreats provide dedicated time away from daily distractions to dive deep into your story. Think about getting away from it all, whether you're a mom with young kids or you've got a really demanding 9 to 5. Can you imagine going away for the weekend just to focus in on the importance of writing your story? What a gift to yourself and what a way to honor what you've been through. It'll provide mental clarity. A new environment often clears mental clutter, allowing your voice to come through more clearly. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go this weekend, but I know for me, I get my best writing done usually when I'm on an airplane because I don't have access to the internet because the like wireless never works on planes for me. And no one needs anything from me. So I'm basically just left alone for hours and I can get so much writing done. So I'm hoping that I'll have the same kind of experience when I'm away on this retreat. It's a productivity boost because there are structured schedules and fewer interruptions, often will lead to significant writing progress. You don't have to figure out, for our retreats, you don't have to figure out your meals. We've got it all planned out for you. We have catering coming in for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There are optional activities and hikes to go on, but you don't have to do those either. You can just stay and write. Um, some of the other upsides and the pros of participating in a writing retreat would be craft development. So skill building, expert feedback, and learning from others' work. We definitely have opportunities, and we're planning a longer writing retreat in Italy for 2026, and that'll be about 5 days. So we will be building in workshops and sessions that will help strengthen your narrative arc, your voice, pacing, and emotional depth. You'll get critiqued from experienced authors, editors, and mentors like myself to refine your draft. So if you brought in a body of work, you could actually get to experience being in a cool place, meet a bunch of cool women, get some rest and some time away from your regular life, but also make a lot of headway and progress in terms of getting feedback on your draft, and then learn from others' work. Hearing other memoirist stories can teach you about structure, tone, and style, and you can learn a lot from just talking to other authors about their processes and what they're struggling with, how they have figured out how to approach certain challenges. It's so beneficial, not just in the sense of the structure and the sessions and the workshops that will be presented, but also just in that conversation that you're going to have with other writers who are serious enough about writing their stories that they have invested in a retreat like this. Again, the community and support. You're connecting with like-minded writers. You're in a safe space to share. You can test your story in a supportive environment, and often with those who've been through something as well and who are there for the same reason, essentially. And so they're going to get where you're coming from, and they're going to respond appropriately. And then you can build your network. You can meet potential collaborators, beta readers, future writing group members, people who will help you in your book launch when you get to that point. Again, this part is a little bit special just because these authors have all worked with Soul Speak Press in Deserts to Mountaintops, but a lot of them don't know each other. So this is it's going to be interesting, and it's an experiment, which is my word for 2025. I think there's a lot of room for emotional growth, and that can't be discounted. I think that's why I go into retreats. When I think back to my time retreating, doing herbalism, it wasn't so, I mean, it was a lot about learning the science and the facts behind the plants and how to grow and how to, utilize that medicine, but it was also just about my own emotional growth. I was in so much of a place of exploration in my life in terms of trying to figure out what was next and what my purpose was. And it was amazing just in the sense of the emotional growth that I experienced from setting aside that time for myself, really prioritizing myself and my exploration in terms of this pursuit of purpose. There's a lot of reflection, right, that goes on, whether you're in the car. For me, I had 2.5 hours alone in the car where I just had these amazing, almost spiritual experiences, whether it was music I was listening to, podcasts I was listening to. Again, I was a mother of very young children, so to have that time just in the car, sipping my coffee, getting up really early, especially all through the summer, and watching the sun come up, it was a very emotionally intense experience for me, but also a time of growth and really resurrection, right? And so that can only happen when you set aside time for reflection. And I realize I'm talking about two different experiences here, but I do believe that even a weekend, there can be a lot of reflection done, and there can be a lot of emotional growth that comes from that. There's encouragement to keep going. If you've been stuck or discouraged, a retreat can totally rekindle your motivation and your inspiration to keep going. It's going to validate your voice. Being heard and witnessed helps build in confidence in telling your truth. I mean, we all need that, and new perspectives. Getting a change of scenery brings a creative spark that perhaps you have wondered if that's long dead. Try a change of scenery and come be with us, and see if that sparks your creativity. And then just this inspiration in terms of like being in nature, or a new culture, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. It can jumpstart so many things for you. It can also, like, everything is information. Maybe, you go into an environment like this and you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, actually, I really don't want to share my story. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, writing actually is painful in so many ways, and this is not for me. It's really good information to have, right? Hopefully that's not the case, but it'll bring you like accountability. It can bring you, you can set up some structure, deadline check-ins, writing goals to keep you on track. And then, at the end of the day, it's really going to help you clarify your purpose. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you sharing your story? What is your memoir about? What's the bigger plan here? I really believe that we're going to have some empowering, impactful, strategic conversations about, beyond just the writing and the craft of writing, but me, it's all about too, like, how are you going to market this thing? How are you going to sell this thing? How are you going to build your platform? So I'm really excited about it, and I will look forward to reporting back if you are, listening to this. It's Thursday, and so we'll be convening on Friday the next day. And of course, I'll be sharing in my stories and posting online. So make sure that you follow me, Jessica C. Buchanan, so that you can see in real time what it's like to be a part of a writing retreat with Soul Sweet Press. Now, we have two in the works, two other retreats that we're planning and that are in the works. And the next one is September 12th, 13th, that weekend, whatever that is. And we're firming it up. We've just booked the hotel, and we're actually going to do, it's kind of like a staycation retreat. We are trying all kinds of different things, and we're going to do it here in Alexandria, Virginia, where I live. And we're going to book a night away in a hotel, and it's going to be Italian themed, if you will, to really uh, get your juices, your creative juices flowing. And then also in preparation for our big retreat that we're going to be co-hosting, Jess and I, with Jennifer Artley, who is an author friend of ours. Her book just came out March 8th. It's called Improvising in Italian, and it's awesome. It's a great, great read. Highly recommend you go pick it up. And she spends part of her time in Milan, and so she's helping us organize this amazing retreat at a beautiful place in northern Italy. And so we're planning one for the spring, I believe, of 2026, and one for the fall. So if either of those sound interesting to you, please reach out so we can put you on a list and keep you updated as the plans fall into place. That one will be, I believe, 5 days. And I'm not sure the price yet. We haven't landed on that, but we're trying to keep it under $5,000. But think about the fact that, like, somebody is organizing your stay, your accommodation, your transport from the airport, your meals, and then providing you with really incredible workshops and teachings from all sorts of authors. It's not just me. It's not just Soul Speak Press. But then the local one in Alexandria, we're trying to keep that around $800. And so that'll include your accommodation, your meals, Friday night dinner, and then I believe it's breakfast and lunch on Saturday, plus workshops and some information about our Italy retreat. So, and a lot of the food that we'll be eating, Jennifer's bringing back from Italy. So it's going to be pretty incredible. Good wine for sure. So, I feel always when I do these by myself that I'm a bit rambly, but I hope maybe this has sparked something in you, some curiosity, whether or not you just go off and book an Airbnb for the weekend to just reflect and maybe jot down some notes in your journal, or to say yes to that writing retreat opportunity that keeps coming through your inbox. I hope that maybe this gives you the little push, the little bump that you need in terms of saying yes. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that you keep writing. Thanks, guys.
In Her Words is hosted by me, Jessica Buchanan, and is produced by Soul Speak Press, a non-traditional publishing house for women who are ready to tell their story. If you would like to know more about our submission process, I encourage you to check us out at www.soulspeakpress.com or follow us over on Instagram at soulspeakpress. We appreciate all your questions, and if you would like to leave us a review, we would be so grateful.